Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the WrestleVlog YouTube channel. You've probably forgotten who we are. I'm Aaron Nix, and joining me is this beautiful and delightful soul that is Astrid Pesaro. How are you, Astrid?
Good, glad to be here again.
It's been a while. Well, I mean, I haven't been working, so nobody else has definitely been working because I'm the only one who edits this piece of crap. NXT Takeover is tonight when we're recording it. Pre-show. Who wants to look at Sam Roberts and his disgusting merkin that he calls hair when you could look at Astrid, who is beautiful and delightful and pure and innocent and honest and everything that Sam Roberts isn't, the fucking cretin. 5 matches for NXT Takeover, so hopefully it'll be done in a nice tight 2.5 hours, although judging by the idea of the concept, which of course is WarGames, could go on a while. Let's start with a hair versus hair match. Cameron Grimes versus Duke Hudson.
As much as I don't want him to, I know for sure Cameron's gonna lose his hair in this match. I don't want it to. He looks nice with the shorter hair now, but I don't want to see him bald, but it's gonna happen. So I know Duke is gonna win this one.
Yeah, I watched NXT 2 weeks ago. I think that was the last time I watched it, and this is when he basically came out and challenged Duke Hudson. He was hot under the collar, and I thought he looked really handsome with the trim beard. Now I was like,
right?
Handsome caveman, yeah. And no, ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't mean I'm going to take a hint and trim my beard. Go fuck yourselves. I like looking like an unkempt bush. This whole thing seems very set up because if Duke Hudson has his haircut, it doesn't really mean anything, does it? His hair's short anyway. Like the whole idea is that they've been reporting for months, it seems, about the idea of a makeover for Cameron Grimes. I think that's a mistake. They did this with Daniel Bryan, you know, they went the other way with Daniel Bryan and just made him this unkempt idiot. It worked for him because he was just so committed and also because he's the best technical wrestler in the world. So of course it's going to work for him. Cameron Grimes has so much potential and he already feels like he's the most over talent in NXT or one of them. So I'm a little bit concerned because we're going to have, you know, it's going to be that angle where it's a businessman Cameron Grimes, you know, well-dressed Cameron Grimes. Oh, I spend money in an orderly fashion instead of like to the moon and all this good shit that we've come to like. So Duke Hudson's going to win. And I think it'll be another nail in the proverbial coffin of NXT 2.0, which whether we like it or not, is failing drastically. The ratings are down. The bookings are, you know, some stuff's really good. Bron Breakker seems to be really coming into his own, which is great stuff. But a lot of the other ones, the old school lot, just tend to be getting shifted aside a bit. You know, Carla Riley, Von Wagner are a really good example of that. Speaking of which, I say they're getting swept aside. They will be challenging for the NXT Tag Team Championships against Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel, the thirsty little boys that they are. Imperium will defend their Tag Team Championships against them. Gotta say, Imperium looking rather hunky, it has to be said. Oh, suit you, sir. Yeah, who do you fancy in this one? Do we have new Tag Team Champions or does Imperium retain?
No, I don't see Imperium losing the tag team titles that quickly and that easily, I would say, because obviously compared to like a new form tag team of Kyle O'Reilly and Vaughn. But yeah, I don't see them losing like that. I would like to see like them introduce Walter in some kind of way during this, especially being that this is a big event for them, especially at the end of the year. But yeah, aside from that, I don't see them winning. So
that's working the rumor mills right now that Walter's going to be working his way to the main roster. Walter, for me, is WWE's last big kept secret, you know? Like, he has the potential to be like Brock Lesnar, like this huge entity. And you just know that Vince is going to see him and he's like, what are you, German? I'm actually Austrian. German. Yeah, that's right. You're a fucking Nazi now. I dread to think because up until now, Vince really hasn't had a chance to get anywhere near him. And the one time we did see him on the main roster, you might remember, was a couple of years ago when they had the, you know, cross-promotional Survivor Series and he was on Team NXT and he looked amazing for about a minute and then he got eliminated and everyone was like, thanks. And then I think him especially, I think he thought, yeah, nah, fuck this. I'm going back to the UK and Europe and you guys have fun with your bullshit North American nonsense. If he does turn up, probably, I don't know. I don't think it's a big enough stage for him And I think Imperium are fine by themselves. Maybe MSK get involved, obviously being dethroned by them. And they've been on the hunt, haven't they? And doing all these weird little segments, which, again, I don't think have worked, even though I love Wesley, especially. Big fan of his. Shout out to Wes. He follows me on social media. He's a lovely guy. I've met him a lot of times, but yeah, no, I think Imperium returns, to be fair. And I think that makes sense from a booking standpoint as well, because if they just lose immediately, you think, ugh. But once again, it's a shame that Kyle O'Reilly is kind of saddled with old big eyebrows himself, Von Wagner, literally the world's largest protruding forehead. You could balance a point on that. Right. Fantastic. It looks like he's had a shelf installed on his head. Astrid's way too nice to insult people. Me, on the other hand, I'm a fucking arsehole. So it works well for me. Proper heel and face dynamic here. Yeah, no. Kyle O'Reilly as well. Is it me, or does it feel like he's kind of slowly sliding down the hill towards wherever AEW? You can just see as his contract runs out, Adam Cole's like luring him in. He's like, come on, buddy. Come over here to the elite stage of things. You know it's going to happen. And Roderick Strong is going to be left alone going, hello? Where is everybody? I can guarantee nobody had Roderick Strong being the sole survivor of the Undisputed Era when it all came down to it. So it is what it is. And it looks like we've both got Imperium. So clean sweep so far in terms of our predictions. Speaking of Roderick Strong, he'll be defending his Cruiserweight Championship against everyone's favorite woke man himself, Joe Gacy, who, it has to be said, is pretty entertaining. I like Joe Gacy. I think he's funny. I also like the fact that he takes the piss out of all the snowflakes because they get upset about everything. And a little part of me did have a chuckle because the last time I saw this, Joe Gacy was insinuating that by being a cruiserweight, he was being, kind of offensive to people with different weights and you should be more inclusive, which, fair enough. I think that's quite funny. Does our favorite woke warrior with Haaland at ringside capture the cruiserweight title?
I'm like, not because it's a heel. I'm gonna say it right now, but I don't like him. He does deliver. His promos are good, but aside from that, I'm just like, meh.
Creepy Kevin Owens. That's what he is. Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I feel like I see him winning the title just because of the last promo from last week with the inclusivity and things like that. I feel like this is the way of then kind of dropping the cruiserweight out of this and maybe putting it a little bit different, or maybe they're dropping the title altogether. And I think this is just a way of them to introduce that situation.
Yeah, there's rumors been flying around, haven't there? They're going to drop a belt. And to be fair, I don't think NXT needs a cruiserweight title. Or if they're going to drop it, maybe bring in a more established middle sort of belt, like a US title or an IC title. But again, like Joe Gacy said, maybe he'll win it and then they'll modify it slightly. So it's just a catchweight title would be a good sort of term. Obviously, catchweight being that you can essentially fight somebody who's a much larger weight division or much lower, or a bit like the X division, I suppose, in a lot of ways, just not as cool and not as fun and not as good in any sense at all, actually, now that I think about it. So, yeah, no, I don't get it, though, because Roderick Strong's got all of Diamond Mine behind him. And I'm like, yeah, Haaland is big and scary and he shaved his head because nothing says more terrifying than shaving your head. You've got hair, get rid of that, mate. You need to look scarier. Trust me. Case in point. But yeah, I don't think it makes sense because there's so many of Diamond Mine, they could easily deck the shit out of both of them. So it's going to have to be carnage. I'm assuming Haaland's going to get involved in a big old brawl on the outside. Joe Gacy's going to use that as an opportunity to get a cheeky roll up and get a win. And then Roderick Strong can go back to being nobody, I guess, which is a shame because I like Roderick Strong, but it just feels like they have nothing for him after this. Congratulations, mate. Now you can get in a feud with a Japanese guy who wears blazers. Great. Whoopee. Yo, NXT 2.0 sucks. Starting to get on my nerves now. And that leaves us with two whopper main events. I'm assuming the men will probably main event.
Yeah.
But we'll leave the women till last because they're always going to be the main event in our books, aren't they, Astrid? It's simple as that, really. We always
totally agree.
Team Black and Gold. Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, and LA Knight. Oh, It's quite a naughty team, that is. I do enjoy that. A bit of DIY action. Oh, suits you, sir. They'll be taking on Team 2.0, which is Bron Breakker, bitch, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, and Tony D'Angelo. And I'm sure Trick Williams will be running around ringside acting like the fucking buffoon and moron that he is. I do not like Trick Williams at all. I find him insufferable. And I know people will say, that's his job. Yeah, it's a bit of both. It's a little bit like you with Joe Gacy. Like, I recognize that he's got a half decent promo, but I think he's way too over the top. Stupidly over the top, to the point where I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. He's like that irritating little cunt who comes down the pub and I'm just like, okay. But that's his job, so credit to him. Who comes out of this as the winners?
As much as I like the Black and Gold to win, 2.0 has to win this one. It doesn't make sense for Black and Gold to win this at this point.
Yeah.
And it's just like, obviously, most of the people from Black and Gold are going to have to go to the main roster soon. So that means 2.0 has to win because they're going to the ones have to stay here and basically keep the brand alive for the next couple of years. So it has to be 2.0.
What else can you add to that? You're spot on. What is the point of rebranding it and then having all of your new, fresh superstars lose? I think Bron Breakker, they've made a very good point here, and they've made it very clear. He's our next guy. He's our next big thing on this brand. And Tommaso Ciampa is the mountain he has to overcome. And it's nice that they've gone long term with it. I was worried that he was just going to drop the belt at the last show, and that was going to be it. And it was like, oh, thanks. Halloween Havoc. Now fuck off. Thanks for your time, Tommaso. And I know you don't want to go to the main roster, so All Elite, yeah. The amount of guys in this match who I'm looking at and thinking, 1 year's time, All Elite, All Elite, All Elite, All Elite. I could see all four of them being there, absolutely. Because, and the really sad thing is, in the midst of this is LA Knight, who I think should be a megastar, should be on the main roster. He should be on Raw, talking shit, getting in the face. And it's weird. They kind of tried to turn him somewhat face dynamic because the crowd just aren't accepting Grayson Waller, which is understandable because he is quite literally shit. He's like a good athlete, but he's got no character. His charisma is so fake, and he's got that grating, annoying. He's not a good Australian like Duke Hudson. He's a bad Australian, bad Australian, and he just reminds me of a really shit cosplay of Jake Paul as well. That's what I feel like his gimmick is, that he's Jake Paul. So Astrid's not in the mood for all this carnage. She just wants to be nice and enjoy her wrestling. Bless her. 2.0 to get the win, and the match that I really am excited about most. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, I think of all people, I think Gargano's probably going to be pinned as well, being that his future is like meh right now. So,
hey, it's just Jesus Christ. AW is going to have a fucking bigger roster than the entire NFL fucking combined, isn't it? Mate, where are you going to fit them all? AW After Dark 2 and 3. Just stop making shows, please. I'm not watching them all. Can't be bothered. You'll be lucky if I watch this, if I'm being real. I'll just watch the women's match and then fast forward through the rest of it. Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, Cora Jade, and Kaylee Ray. Oh, love Kaylee Ray. She's amazing. Versus Dakota Kai and Toxic Attraction. Oh, my goodness. This might be the hottest match in the history of wrestling. It is. Pretty sure it is. You're just going to have to deal with it, Astrid. There's a lot of first here. You can first after all the wonderful Latin macho men that are on Raw, so I'm going to first after this because Toxic Attraction, my God.
We're not even a Raw anymore. Like, I have the Lotharios on SmackDown now.
That's very true. And they're fantastic, by the way, and need to be pushed and made tag team champions immediately. I don't care. They're all amazing. I gotta say, Cora Jade for me doesn't seem entirely ready. That's just my personal opinion. She's very cute. She's very likable, and I'm sure she loves seeing her boyfriend get shit canned in the last cuts. I'm sure that really fucking went down and absolutely. Can you imagine that? I'm here. I've been here 3 weeks. Get your boyfriend out. Okay, so that relationship's going to last because you know what wrestling is like. I just don't think she fits in this mold. This is really disappointing because Ty Valkyrie would have been fantastic in a match like this. And then, of course, they were like, see ya. It's like, cool, just turf out all your good women's talents. Yes. Yeah. I mean, they've still got a lot of amazing talent in this match, but there are a couple of people who just kind of feel a little bit. And also, I'm not feeling Dakota Kai now. Obviously, you know how much I love her. I adore Dakota Kai, but this gimmick sucks. What's with the
With the glitching.
Yeah, that's shit. That, Vince is coming and going, you know what you need? You need to have a Twitch. That's money. It's like, no, yeah, but she can talk. Shut up. She's got a Twitch and she's gonna make lots of money. It's like, yeah. And it's hard not to correlate this with main roster bullshit, because remember, she had that little sort of run where she was doing some televised matches on, and on main event, I think it was, and that, and you thought, maybe they're prepping her for the main roster. And you can guarantee Vince looked at her and went, yeah, she's hot, but she needs a gimmick. She needs to be gimmicked the fuck up. We're going back to the old days of the Goon and the Gobbledygooker, and you've got to have a fucking prop and all this. God, it sucks. Just let them do their thing. These women are strong, beautiful, powerful, sexy, everything you want from a modern day athlete. Let them go out there and deliver a killer matchup. Over or under on Io Shirai getting up top and reliving the bin over the head moment from a couple of years ago. Do you fancy that again? I'll do. That'd be amazing. Let's have it's 2.0. So how about bin 2.0? Let's have it. Who do you think is winning this?
I mean, I feel like Toxic Attraction Dakota have to win this at this point, because it just, as champions, it doesn't make sense for them to lose it. Unless it's Dakota that gets pinned, maybe as a way to protect Toxic Attraction. That would be the only way I could see it, but I think they have to win it. But yeah, like you said, I just feel like from I guess I would say, so they do feel awkward to me when they first started putting them together. Like, I know Zoe would have fit in this because of Io before, but obviously she's injured. And then, like you said, Taya's the other option that I was thinking about. I'm like, yeah, but we can't do that one anymore. But yeah, it just, like, I feel like the Toxic Attraction and Dakota have to win it though.
Yeah, they're on fire. They're the women's tag team champions and obviously the women's champion. It's really funny because for me, this hasn't worked 2.0. Like, at the start, I was trying to be really positive and I thought, let's give it time, but it just hasn't improved. And the thing is, all the things that we loved, they're trying to make a point of sweeping them all out of the way. Like, oh, yeah, you like Cameron Grimes, do you? Cut his hair, cut his beard, make him look like a businessman. Oh, you like Kyle O'Reilly, do you? Well, no more is he going to wrestle Adam Cole because he fucked off. So we're going to stick him with shelving unit man, who is only getting a push because he is quite... like, what's his gimmick, by the way? That he lives in the country? That's just shit. Lazy. That guy can't cut a promo, and it's really sad. And Kyle O'Reilly has never been the best promo guy. Lovely guy. He's never, like, Adam Cole was always the guy for talking. It was Adam Cole was like, the modern day Shawn Michaels. Kyle O'Reilly just feels like a little bit like Triple H was back in the day, very quiet in the background. He's the great wrestler, but he's never going to be the guy. So sticking him with this guy hurts him more. Yeah, I'm looking at this women's match though, and I'm thinking definitely Toxic Attraction, just because it doesn't really make sense if they don't win. It depends on what's going on last. I assume the men's will, but because they normally try and send the crowd home happy, don't they? But I mean, I don't know. The crowd are kind of half and half as well. The one thing I will say is it's a great opportunity to see whether Cora Jade can really hang in a high-profile match. If she can have a good match here, she's going to have a massive future, I think. And the same for Tony D'Angelo in the men's match. Because he's actually quite over, despite his gimmick being so stupid. Like, his gimmick is, I'm in the mafia. I am dollar store good fella himself, Tony D'Angelo. And I'm like, you ain't whacking nothing other than the downstairs unit, sunshine. And yeah, no, but it's over. Crowd love it. They love a bit of bullshit. Sometimes bullshit gets over. Who can forget Breezango? They were amazing. I mean, obviously they got released like everybody else, but what's that? You're over? Get the fuck out. But I've none of that. Is that right? You're over? Get out. It's just, I'm seeing a recurring pattern here. If you are not 450 pounds and jacked and Samoan, well, you're just not getting over. It's as simple as that. It's Roman Reigns or bust, baby. And I'm okay with that because Roman Reigns is clearly the best wrestler in the world. Suck my chode, Kenny Omega. You looking forward to this?
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I've been enjoying 2.0. It's just nice to see kind of fresh faces, because it reminds me of the old NXT for me when it was like Baron Corbin starting up and people like that. So
that was good.
I like it because I'm giving them the opportunity, because I know it's new people, and I know most of the people are like, they probably have a little bit of indie experience, but not as much as like people like Ciampa and Gargano that came up this way. So yeah, I'm like, we'll see how it goes, but I don't have low expectations, but I'm just like, I know it'll be a good show, at least entertaining. So.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't really care that much going into Havoc, and I thought that was actually really good. I really enjoyed that. The quality of wrestling is always going to be there, and I think that helps a little bit. But I think it's a slap in the face to a lot of fans, because it's like you've spent the best part of 3 to 4 years getting invested in this brand, this black and gold style brand, and obviously even when it first started, like you say in Full Sail, it was still less bullshit, colorful main roster bollocks. It was. They had some dumb gimmicks, but they still had that proper core of good, solid indie wrestling. And now they've just gone away from that. They're like, right, can we get rid of the indie wrestlers? We need stars. We need to build them from the ground up. And they've turned it right back into developmental. And if they said, this is developmental, it's not a third brand, it's just to see how they do, then I would have been like, yo, I'm pretty easygoing. But they've made it very clear. They've put it on live TV, USA. This is a proper brand. This is a proper show. So I expect it to do well. And for me, it doesn't match up to, it's better than Raw, but then again, Me Naked is better than Raw, and Me Naked isn't good either. So, it's one of those things. SmackDown is great, I think. But even that, I'm just like, fast forward that shit. Happy Corbin, no thanks. There's still stuff on here, and this is why I don't really watch much mainstream wrestling anymore. Because first of all, I don't have time because I'm obviously working on the indie circuit over here so much. But also, I'm just like, it's hard to be invested in something where I know for a fact they're going out of their way to ruin all the things I like. And I feel like NXT has been like that for some time. So, I'm wearing my Cameron Grimes t-shirt, which you can get for like $5. Peanuts, innit? Support your boy. I'm sure he'll get about, I don't know, 2 cents in residuals from this, but whatever. It's nice to support those guys, and it's nice to see them do well, but I just don't have high expectations. But you've been covering it obviously a lot more than me, over at Love Wrestling and stuff like that. Why don't you plug your socials and let people know where they can see you more often? Because I guarantee you after this, they will not want to see me again.
Well, we do NXT on Tuesdays, usually between 10:30, 10:45 p.m. Eastern time. So basically react to NXT. Tonight, basically, we'll be reacting to WarGames after the show's over. And yeah, I'm just doing interviews here and there and trying to find my way around Love Wrestling. So if you check out Love Wrestling CA and Facebook, Twitter, and even Twitch and YouTube, that's where everything's going to be at.
Yeah, great content, those guys. Yeah, sorry to anyone who is watching this who's thinking, hey, where are all your 3-minute reviews? I'm so tired. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm very honest with you. I'm very tired. I'm doing so much work now. I'm working with like 6 or 7 different indie companies in Britain. Things have blown up, which is great. This is what I always wanted. It's kind of the dream, but unfortunately something needed to take a back seat, and that was pretty much regular content and WrestlePlug. Still got interviews coming. We just dropped the Franco Varga interview. Franco Varga, ex-Impact star, things like that. Got to work with him personally. Wonderful talent. Amazing stories to tell about being on the road, working with Ron Simmons in Canada and things like that. Like he's, that's the kind of content we're going to be leaning to. So expect more interviews than coverage of Raw and that, because, if you think it's painful to watch just a 3-minute review of Raw, then imagine what it's like to watch the whole 3 hours. It's unbearable. It is actually painful. Frankly, they should do that in Guantanamo Bay, and they get people to talk really quickly. Right, just stick the Raw marathon on and watch them crack within about 2 hours. It's terrible, terrible, terrible.
It's been okay lately. Like it's been improving a little bit compared to how it was. Because I feel like before I had to put it like background noise. At least now I get to watch like Biggie and Rollins. That part has been good now with KO and everything with Becky and the girls on Raw. So that little part's like here and they're just like, I can take bits and pieces of it that I can enjoy more than anything.
Yeah, no, you are Captain Positive, and I admire you for that. But yeah, it's great for me. I've got the excuse. I haven't got time to watch it anyway, so it's easy for me to say that. But I will say one thing: there are some great talents on there, and I do really enjoy Seth Rollins right now. I think he's fantastic. That is something what I'll do is I'll skip through it and I'll find the Seth Rollins segment and Edge if he's on. Apparently, Beth Phoenix is getting a push again. Maybe, possibly. Maurice came back, which is always good. She's always great value for money. And by the way, immortally hot. Like, well done, Miz. Well done, Miz, you lucky bastard. But yeah, no, I'm not going to watch. wake me up when, I don't know, somebody big returns. I'm sure you'll message me and be like, you got to watch it this week. I'm like, okay, cool. Because the last one I watched in full was The Egg. And that pissed me off knowing. I was like, no, that's enough. Even for me, that's enough. Fuck you, Vince. Fuck your egg. You should have shoved that egg. Yeah, that should have been a suppository, sir. That should have been inserted in your lucid anus, you fucking stupid, archaic, out of touch ball bag. That being said, I'm sure I'll find some way of watching NXT. Let us know in the comments below if you do want me to cover it. But most importantly, check out Astrid and what she's doing. She's a fantastic human being. She genuinely doesn't enjoy being on these podcasts. She hates talking to me, but she does it anyway because for some reason she feels like she's obligated to help me. Basically, we give her a care allowance and then she looks after me because I'm a bit. So, thank Astrid, send her your love and tell her how hot her accent is and everything else that we do on a daily occasion. And if you're good looking enough, you might just have an opportunity, but you better be really good looking because she's all about the Damian Priest. And that man is like, mwah. Like he's just cut above old Damian. So you're going to have to go some to win her heart, I'm afraid. But check out Love Wrestling as well. Love those guys. Don't get a chance to check it out that much. But when I have watched the streams, very fun, very well balanced. A little bit too positive for me because I'm a miserable bastard. That's why they don't have British people on, because we're too miserable and too angry. So if you want someone really positive that's nothing like this, go watch Love Wrestling and tell them I sent you. But yeah, as far as we're concerned, that'll do for the NXT Takeover pre-show / preview. Hopefully you enjoy Takeover itself tonight. Let us know what you thought of the show, and like I say, leave it in the comments below if you do want to hear us review it. I'm sure we could maybe rope Astrid into sparing half an hour of the time at some point in the week to cover it. But if you want a proper full reaction to it, Love Wrestling straight after the show, and you'll get to see that sexy little mamacita next to me, and she'll fucking nail it. I'm sure she will. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you very soon. Probably not that soon, to be fair, for more content from the WrestlePlug.